What's up, everybody? I hope y'all are having a wonderful day. I'm Anthony. On today's video, I got a really good one for y'all. We're going to be talking about one of my absolute favorite subjects, and that's going to be water filters and water purification in general. I got a new system here that is amazing, and I wanted to go ahead and share with everybody, so please stay tuned. Okay, so like I said in the intro, today's going to be talking about one of my absolute favorite subjects, and that's going to be water purification. Now, when you jump into the preparedness community, one of the first things you're probably going to jump into initially is going to be water purification, because it is just that important. You are not going to make it very far if you do not have clean water to drink, period, point blank. You could have all the food you want stashed away, you could have the best shelter, but if you have an inadequate water supply or a dirty water supply and you don't know how to clean it, you are not going to make it very far. Now, I wanted to make sure I clarified here, this doesn't just have to be for the preparedness community or the self-reliance outdoorsy community. If you are interested in things like sewing or engines, it doesn't matter, everybody needs to have clean water. So this video is going to apply to everybody. Now, if you've been in the preparedness, outdoorsy, hunting, self-reliance, self-sufficiency lifestyle for any length of time, you know how absolutely important water purification is. It's one of those things where you live and die by how much water you can actually clean. So being able to make sure your water is clean is absolutely paramount. However, there are different systems out there that a lot of people do and do not know. For one of the best ways to make sure your water is absolutely as clean as possible, I would absolutely recommend going to something like reverse osmosis. It is probably one of the best because it gets out almost everything, because you're basically forcing water through a membrane so it gets clean. But unfortunately, reverse osmosis systems require you to actually tap into your plumbing system and almost require a hard mount, all right? It's not one of those things that you can pick up and take with you, which is one of the, drawbacks of having this system. So if you want to make sure that you have a system that you can take with you from place to place, you're going to have to look at a gravity-fed system. Now, one of the gold standards of gravity-fed systems in the community has always been Berkey water systems, all right? Berkey water filters are amazing. They're about, say about 2 feet tall, and they're able to filter almost absolutely everything. Now, this isn't a commercial for Berkey because I'm honestly not a big fan of them. That's for my own reasons. They're actually a really good company, but they just cost so much money. I mean, I'm not spending $400 for a system that I can pick up and move. If I'm going to spend $400, it's going to be on a reverse osmosis I'm going to put underneath my sink to do the whole house and be able to do so many gallons all the time. But when it comes down to it, Berkeys are synonymous with clean water. However, I wanted to give people another option so where you don't have to spend $400 for a clean water system, something that's a little bit more wallet friendly. That's why I found this system right here. What system am I talking about? Here. It's called the clearly filtered system, all right? It comes in a standard water pitcher that you can run through a gravity-fed filter. Now, I'm sure when you see a plastic pitcher with a screw-on filter at the bottom, you're probably having flashbacks of like the Brita systems or the Pure systems that are basically, I mean, they're water filters. They filter out some things, but they don't filter out absolutely everything. And that's kind of one of the things that a lot of people get nervous about when they see these style systems. How much am I actually filtering? So I'm not here to knock systems like Brita. I've had a Brita system since I bought this house because it makes the water that comes out of my well taste better, all right? I have a little bit of a metallic-y taste, more or less a chalky taste whenever I got my water directly from the well because I'm on a whole bunch of granite here, so it imparts that flavor. But if I run it through a Brita filter, it takes away that flavor and I have to worry about the taste. So I've been running a filter like that on my house water since I bought the place. But I wanted to have a system that was a little bit better, something that could give me a little bit more peace of mind because I got a 2-year-old at home. Now, no two areas are the same, okay? Just because I live in a certain place in the United States does not necessarily mean that the person who lives even one state over is going to have the exact same water conditions. So I want to make sure I picked out a filter that was compatible almost everywhere, okay? Now, me, I live in South Carolina in a rural area, so it's more agricultural than anything else, and I live on a well, okay? My friend Steve over at Corsair Trainers lives in California, Southern California, and he's on a city system. My friend Martha over at Old School Prepper lives in Oregon, and she's also on a well, but since she's in a completely different area than me, they have different considerations when it comes down to what may or may not be in your water. When I was doing my research on a system that was going to be good for me, I wanted to make sure that it was a system that's going to be good for a lot of other conditions as well. Something that can apply to everyone, not just rural on a well in the East Coast kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Because out here we have a different batch of issues that others may have. Now, if you live in the city, if you live on municipalities' water, then you're probably going to have to deal with things like fluoride, chlorine, and off tastes in your tap water because they're going to be smothering it. All they do is basically get river water and they smother it with a whole bunch of chemicals to make sure it's clean. Now, they also add fluoride. This video is not about, hey, is fluoride good or bad for you? It's just one of those things where if you're not paying attention to how much fluoride's in your water, you probably should, because it could actually hurt you. So a lot of municipalities add fluoride to their water. That's not my issue because I live rural, so I have to consider a system that's going to be good for if I happen to move to the city, or if I have friends, family that do live in the city as well. Since I am rural, I have to worry about things like pesticides, herbicides, heavy metals in my water system, because even though I have a very deep well, it doesn't necessarily mean that water coming through the ground is not actually carrying that stuff too, because as we all know, things like glyphosate, Roundup, is found in groundwater all over the place, and it's also found in rain. So if it's found in rain and groundwater, there's probably a really good chance it's in my groundwater and going up my well. And that's what led me to this system. This system is one of those that when I did the research on it, I almost couldn't believe it, because it was able to filter out so many different things in a gravity style system. Now when you buy this system, it's going to come with an instruction booklet on how to actually make the filters work, but it is also going to come with this, all right? This is a list of chemicals, compounds, elements, whatever else that this thing has been tested independently to filter. Okay, it actually says right here in this little thing right here, testing performed by QFT Laboratory LLC in Williamstown, New Jersey, with their phone number, an independent ANSI accredited laboratory, ANAB certificate, blah blah blah. All tests and otherwise reported were performed in accordance with NSF standards for water quality and the reduction of chemicals and contaminants. So basically what this is telling me is every single one of these elements, chemicals, whatever, have been tested independently, not by this company that actually sells me this filter, but independently to make sure that whatever they're saying is true. Now that kind of testing is really good in my opinion, because it's able to show that what I'm buying is for real. And I like to be able to buy things that are for real. Now, when you look at this, you're going to see right off the top, the first thing in here is fluoride, okay? Again, I'm not trying to sit here and say fluoride's good or bad. You can have your own thoughts and processes about that. For me, I would not let my family drink fluoride all the time, but that's just me. It doesn't mean that I, think that it's bad for you. So it's one of those things where when I moved out here to the rural area and I was on a well, I was like, yes, I don't have to worry about having fluoride pumped into my water. But if you happen to do live in a city, town, whatever that is giving you fluoride in your water, you can rest assured, because right here up top it says fluoride, and it was tested running through this filter, and it takes out 99.5%. So, hey, if you have a whole bunch of fluoride in your water, this thing's going to take out almost all of it. Now let's see what else is in here. Heavy metals, all right? Remember how I talked about heavy metals are probably in my water? Well, I know for a fact when I go fishing at my local reservoir, the lake, there are certain advisories that come out every so often. And usually it comes down to you can only eat so many species per month, because they have levels of heavy metals that are kind of toxic, all right? So you don't want to voluntarily put that into your body by eating fish that have large amounts of it. So things like largemouth bass, since they are predatory fish, they eat a whole bunch of other fish, they're probably going to have a higher level of mercury. So when it comes down to it, there's certain chemicals or heavy metals that I have to make sure I'm looking at when I'm testing out a filter. So looking at this thing, it says heavy metals, and some of the big ones are aluminum, barium, arsenic, cadmium, cobalt, lead, mercury, nickel, zinc. All these are listed on here. And when it comes down to it, when you look at things like, let's see, mercury. Mercury, I don't like mercury. I definitely don't want to have it in my water. This thing takes out 98.4% of all mercury in my water. Hey, that's good. What about lead? I definitely don't want to drink lead water like they do up in Flint, Michigan. So I want to look how much it's taken out. It's taken out 99.3% of lead. That's really good. What about zinc, all right? Zinc is one of those things where if it's heated, it's toxic. Obviously, people have hot water heaters. If they're not realizing that they're inhaling fumes, that zinc can be toxic. So let's see. This takes out 99.9% of zinc. So, independently tested, it's taking out those heavy metals. That's another plus for this system. Now, what about for other rural folk who may be in an agricultural area like myself? What about the people who may be having to deal with herbicides running into the waterways? All right, farmers go out, they douse their their fields with chemicals. Most of them are going to be Roundup ready or herbicide ready, so they can kill off the green, the green stuff, and plant their crop. So I know for a fact they put a lot of glyphosate down here and 2,4-D, because I've talked to farmers. So those are the things that I have to look at whenever I'm considering what this water filter can take out. So I find it on here, 2,4-D. It takes out greater than 99.9%. So I'm good there. What about dicamba? It takes out 99.9% there. I'm good. And what about glyphosate? Glyphosate, again, takes out greater than 99.9%. So when it comes down to it, this system works really well for an agricultural area as well. Now let's say the power goes out, all right? Say I don't have any power and I have no way to pump water from my well. Well, I have a few other options, all right? I have obviously some water collection around the area from rain, but I also have a creek in my backyard, all right? Basically, I go down the little hill right here, and there's the creek. The creek runs 24/7 all the time. It is not one of those seasonal creeks, all right? So when it comes down to it, I always have water running through the property somewhere. Now, whenever you're talking about bodies of water outside, you're probably going to have a whole bunch of bacteria, viruses that may be in that water that you definitely do not want to drink. So if I had to, could I run that through here and be safe? Well, right here it says bacteria, cysts, and microorganisms. What does it test out? Algae removes 99.99999%. Amoebas, again, same thing, 99.99%. What about E. coli? E. coli is horrifying, 99.999%. Giardia, beaver fever, again, 99.99%. And Cryptosporidium, 99.99%. So obviously it's taking out the bacteria and microorganisms. What about viruses? It's only tested 2 viruses on here, but they are MS2, phage, and rotavirus. Rotavirus is one of those hardcore viruses. It's hard to kill. Does this filter those out? Yep. 99.999%. Those are not the only thing that this filter can take out. It can take out all of this stuff, but it's not just the front page, it's the back as well. This is how much stuff they actually test to see if this filter can work. Now I'm not going to go through all these because I'll be here literally all day, so I'm just going to go ahead and read the main parts. It takes out VOCs, volatile organic compounds. It takes out pesticides. They tested it on pharmaceutical drugs. I know a lot of people are concerned, you know, in the info place that is obviously kind of being sued out of its mind right now. But yeah, they're always talking about having estrogen in the water. Well, guess what? Estrogen, progesterone, how much does it take out? 99.9%. So if you're worried about that, congratulations. This filter will be good for you. What about pesticides? I'm sure a lot of pesticides are in a lot of people's water depending on the area you're in. If you have trucks that go by smogging for mosquitoes, congratulations, you probably have pesticides in your water. What about phthalates? Phthalates, yep, that's on here too. And same thing with microplastics. Now, we live in a day and age where we've had plastics around for about 60 years now. And all it takes is the amount of UV exposure to break down that plastic. But that plastic doesn't actually go away. It doesn't get recycled. It just turns into microplastics, and it finds its way into water sources. So does this thing take out microplastics? Yes, it does. Greater than 99.9%. So if you're looking for a system that can almost take out absolutely everything you're looking for, check this one out. Alrighty, so I think I got my point across, right? This is one of those systems that you can use regardless to where you may be in the world, in the country, and it's going to be a really good way to get rid of a lot of potential contaminants in your water. That's the whole point I wanted to do when I did this video. If you are someone who likes to use a Berkey, then by all means keep using a Berkey. But if you don't have that system and you don't have $400 to put on that system, consider buying this product right here. Now I know for a fact I bought this system with 3 extra filters, so that means the pitcher plus a filter plus 3 other filters for $220. So do the math. This thing is good to filter out 100 gallons. So 100 gallons for a family of 4 is usually about 2 months. So you're going to go through 1 filter every 2 months. That means that for every, let's see, do some math. If 1 filter costs about $40 and it filters 100 gallons, you are looking at about 40 cents a gallon. Now, you know, if you've watched my videos before, how much I cannot stand bottled water. And I can tell you point blank right now that it costs well more than 40 cents a gallon to go buy bottled water from a store. So why would you not invest in this system instead? That's all I'm saying. Okay, so I think I'm going to end the video there. If you have any other questions, concerns, whatever, I'm going to go ahead and link down below into the description of this video the website so you can read all the stuff that you want to from the company itself. I did not order through Amazon. I ordered directly through the company because they had just as good of a deal as Amazon and they still had free shipping. The shipping only took like 4 days to get to me, so it really wasn't that bad. So if you are interested in this product, do yourself a favor and go ahead and order it. You will not regret it. One of the things I definitely wanted to make sure I mentioned is this company does not know me. This company doesn't know who I am. This company doesn't even know anything about whatever I'm doing right now on video, okay? So I'm not getting any kind of kickbacks. I'm not getting any kind of discount code that's going to make me money on the side, okay? This is just me finding a product I liked, and I wanted to tell my viewers about it because I think it is that good. So that's why I wanted to go ahead and put it on camera. So again, if you like this video at all, please do me a humongous favor and give me a thumbs up. It helps me out tremendously, and I would very much appreciate it. Subscribe, and I will catch y'all on the next one, okay?